Man, being the youngest in the family is like having a front row seat to the raw, unfiltered truth of life. Yeah, you might get bullied, you might get picked on, but that's the badass advantage. You get to sit back and observe. You watch every move, every mistake, every success, and you learn. My dad, hell no, I'm not doing that. My mom, my brother, whoever, they all became lessons in what to do and what not to do. I studied them like my life depended on it because in a way it did. That was my blueprint. I saw how they lived and I made a choice. I'm not going down that path. I know where you're at because I've been there. Deep in this shit where life feels like a goddamn dungeon. But that's where I found my strength. I wasn't above anyone, in fact. I've been beneath most. That's where my knowledge, my grit, and my drive came from. When you're down in the trenches, that's where you either break or you become a savage. I was a part-time savage, but when the injuries and setbacks started to pile up, I knew I had to pull my head out of my ass. There was more left in the tank, and I wasn't done yet. Then I talked to Cameron Haynes, this guy who ran a 240-mile race that hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized there's a whole new level out there. I had mastered the 100-mile races, but 200 plus miles, that was a different beast. The first time I tried it, it kicked my ass. But I came back and I did better because that's what the mind does. It adapts, it grows, it finds a way. Running 200 miles became my new normal. That's the power of pushing limits. You realize there's always another level. So I went all in almost back-to-back 200-mile runs. What started as a brutal challenge became just another day at the office because I figured it out, man. But don't get it twisted, it wasn't easy. There were gut checks, moments when every fiber of my being was screaming to stop. At 70 miles in, I was wrecked, and the idea of running 30 more miles seemed impossible. But I did it. And when I finally finished, when that cold shower hit me, reality set in. I had just run 101 miles, and that last stretch was beyond anything I can describe. People were telling me to go to the hospital, worried about the damage, but man, I didn't want any of that. I didn't want to numb the pain or run from it. I wanted to feel every damn bit of it. That's where growth happens, in the pain, in the suffering. So I said, shut the fuck up and let me enjoy this. I've earned it. Let me tell you something, you might not get it, but I don't give a fuck if you do. I had just climbed a mental wall that most people can't even imagine. And I wasn't about to let anyone take that away from me. That pain, I felt that was confirmation. It was like a fucking badge of honor. I never want to feel that kind of pain again. But at the same time, it showed me exactly what's possible. That's when it hit me. I've been underachieving my entire damn life. Now, man, I'm not saying you need to go to that place. It's a dark, dangerous place, and it's not for everyone. But for me, it was one of the biggest lessons of my life. That 19-hour grind taught me something crucial I've been holding back, coasting, not pushing my limits. And when you start climbing, getting more successful, the haters come out of the woodwork. But here's the truth, you'll never meet a hater who's doing better than you. That's a fact. Most of the people throwing shade at you are stuck at a low level, and their criticism is just a reflection of their own insecurities. So, you know what I did? I started having fun with it. While most people avoid the comments, I dive right in searching for the hate. Yeah, I block and delete those trolls because my page doesn't need that negative energy, but before I do, I take a screenshot. I save those nasty comments like trophies. Why? Because on days when I don't feel like getting after it, I pull them up. I made mixtapes of all that hate, and it became pure fuel for me. I know why they hate me, man. They hate me because they're lying in bed, not doing shit with their lives, while I'm out here making them question everything. So I'm going to keep making them uncomfortable by leveling up even more. I listen to that hate when I run, sometimes around the house. It drives them nuts, but I don't care. It's half funny, half inspiring, and it keeps me sharp. This isn't some part-time gig for me, man. This is my life. When Kobe Bryant retired, he dropped 60 points in his last game and walked off the court with no regrets. That's how I feel. I've given everything, ran on busted knees, taped up feet, survived 2 heart surgeries, and kept pushing. People ask why. That's because they don't get it. David Goggins was a scared, introverted kid who got beat up and lied just to fit in. But I had to create someone else, someone who wasn't afraid, someone who could step out of that comfort zone. That's who Goggins is, man. He's the product of everything I had to go through to become more than I ever thought possible. It took me a long fucking time to hit that breaking point where I said, enough is enough. I was at rock bottom, man, going nowhere fast. I had become exactly what everyone said I would be, nothing. I had to make a change, and that's when Goggins was born. Goggins is like the badass version of me who steps out of the phone booth like Superman It's crazy because sometimes I find myself having these conversations between David Goggins and Goggins. And Goggins is out there doing shit that even David Goggins can't believe. David's like, what the hell, man? Why are you doing this? This is insane. It's a constant battle, trying to dig deeper and find more of myself. The truth is, the real me, David, he's scared. He loves comfort, loves living in a world that pats you on the back, tells you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. But Goggins, he doesn't give a damn about comfort. He knows that to get better, you've got to hear the hard truths, face the pain, and push past every limit you thought you had. That's the battle I fight every day, the battle between staying in that safe, comfortable place or stepping out into the unknown where real growth happens. This is where it all started. And when people hear this, they're going to try to slap a label on me to make themselves feel better. They'll say, man, this guy is some kind of super freak. He found some secret switch in his brain, flipped it, and became this unstoppable force. But that's just bullshit. All they're doing is giving themselves a get out of jail free card, an excuse to stay where they are. The truth is, every day I wake up, I fucking dread what I'm about to put myself through just to get better. There was a time when I could never get over the hump. I'd feel like I was making progress, finally getting somewhere, and then bam, a small windstorm would blow through and knock me right back to where I started. It pissed me off. Why couldn't I get past this? I was learning how to read as a junior in high school, stuck at a 4th grade level because I cheated on everything. I taught myself to read, to write, to do all these discipline things. But every time a real challenge hit, that tiny gust of wind would shove me right back into the hole. That's when I realized I was only fixing shit on the surface. I was surface man, no depth. I wasn't going into the dark cellar of my mind where the real work needed to be done. My soul was broken, man. But I knew I could fix it if I had the guts to face it. But I was terrified of going back, of confronting the demons that had haunted me my whole life. So I started lying to everyone about who I was and creating this fake person I wanted to be. But that wasn't me. And I knew I'd never get over the hurdle unless I dove deep into the sewer of my mind and faced every demon head on. That shit is hard, man. We all love our social media, our curated lives, showing off the version of ourselves we want people to see. But that's not going to fix you. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. You fucking wake up with it, you carry it with you, and eventually you act on it. My self-talk was the most toxic, disgusting shit you can imagine. But I knew I had to go back into that sewer, dig through the filth, and start fixing things. A lot of people are scared to do that. Hell, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have found me on this show. I was too embarrassed, too ashamed to admit I stuttered, that I lied, that I got beat up and bullied. But that's where true transformation starts, when you can stand in front of anyone, whether it's one person or 1,000, and say, this is who I am and this is where I need to fix myself. That's where the real change begins. This is where everything changed for me. People called me dumb man hell. My dad called me every name in the book. Getting beaten down stripped me of any self-esteem I had. That's when I realized something. I was alone in this world. It was just me and God, and I had to fix everything myself. That's when I started building an indestructible mental toolbox. I remember looking into the eyes of this guy in Navy SEAL training. He was ringing the bell to quit, putting down his helmet, and I saw myself in him. I saw the person everyone said I was destined to be nothing. I saw the version of myself that I believed I was. That conversation you have with yourself, that's who I was. That's why I lied to people, making up stories to paint a different picture. But those lies, I had to turn them into reality. I had to become a real person, not just the bullshit I was telling myself and others. That's when I made up my mind I was going to the toughest military training on the planet, facing the one thing that terrified me the most: water. Most people run from their fears, box themselves into a comfortable life because stepping outside that box is too scary. But I jumped out of that box, everything I didn't want to do. Everything I was afraid of, that's what got me to where I am today. It's not just about what you say to yourself, man, it's about putting in the work. So every time I was getting beat down physically, mentally, spiritually, I tell myself, you can't hurt me. I had this haunting voice in the back of my head. It was there for years. A lot of us have it, but we ignore it. But I knew deep down that I could pull off whenever I set my mind to. I knew it, but I was scared of the work it would take. I wasn't born with brains. I wasn't gifted with athletic talent. So I knew to get on the same playing field as these men, to even try out for this program, the work would be brutal. I didn't want to face it, so I kept putting it off. But that's what haunted me, the fact that I was avoiding the hard work. I wanted that comfort zone that everyone else is looking for, that pat on the back, the reassurance that you're doing great. But I realized that's what was holding me back, keeping me in a world where I wasn't accomplishing anything. So I became the big bad monster that people are afraid to meet in the dark. I became my own harshest critic, and that's what changed me. I stopped giving a fuck about what people thought about being judged. What if I stutter? What if they make fun of me? I stopped caring about all that. That's when my life started to change, slowly but surely. When you reach a point where you're truly happy with who you are, no one can mess with you anymore. Even when they try, it doesn't touch you. So what do you want in your life? We're hit with so much influence from all directions that we get lost, not knowing what we truly want, because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. You've got to shut out the noise, look inside, and face the hard truths. That's where real growth happens. Man, greatness isn't some fluffy idea that you stumble upon in your damn dreams. It's whatever the hell you've decided is going to be in your own mind. You got to first see it. You got to create that vision so clearly that it's burned into your brain. You want to be great? Then you've got to get real about it. It's not about waiting for some magic moment. It's about getting off your ass, shutting the hell up, and digging deep inside yourself to find it. That means silencing the noise, locking yourself in a room, and facing your own demons. No more bullshit, no more excuses. Search your soul, dig into your mind, find out what you're truly capable of. But if you ain't even looking, don't expect to find a damn thing. The journey to greatness starts the second you ask yourself, why the hell am I here? What's my purpose on this earth? If you don't know that, then guess what? You're going to spend your whole life wandering around lost forever asking why. I don't wake up and just roll through my day. I get up and suit up in that mental armor. Because when I step out that door, I'm ready to get punched in the mouth by life. There's no half-ass waking up late, scrambling around like a headless chicken. Hell no, man. I wake up with a plan. I lace up those running shoes and I hit the pavement for 90 minutes to 2 hours every damn day. That's my foundation. That's where my belief and confidence come from. And when I'm done with that run, I'm in the gym putting in the work. Then it's on to whatever else is on the damn agenda. There's no wiggle room, no wasted time. You got 24 hours and I'm squeezing every last drop out of it. That's my edge, that's my growth factor. That's why I stay on top, because I'm willing to grind when others won't. Now you hear these so-called motivational gurus out here saying, wake up, pound your chest, tell yourself you're awesome, screw that noise, man. I hope that works for you. But what works for me is real. It's my damn resume of hard work, the calluses on my hands, the calluses on my mind. It's the grind that never stops. That's the real deal. No chest pounding needed when you've got the scars to prove you've been through hell and kept going. People get stuck in these limited horizons, man. They settle for the small picture. They're born in some small town like me in Indiana, surrounded by a handful of people who look like them, thinking maybe I'll get a job at the local factory, buy a house next to mom. That's the box they put themselves in. But you've got to break out of that damn box. You've got to be willing to look beyond the small world you've always known. Your mind is the ultimate battleground. Expand it. Challenge it. Push past the limits you've set for yourself. Quit playing small. You've got to be willing to go to war with yourself every single day. That's how you find greatness, and that's how you keep it. Stay hard. Look, man, dreaming is great. It's the one thing that got me through the darkest times. I was stuck in that small town box, but I had a vision beyond those four walls. But let me tell you something, don't let those dreams be your master. Too many people get it twisted. They sit on their asses fantasizing about being a sports star, a Navy SEAL, or an astronaut. But it's all just a dream until you put in the goddamn work. Dreams are nothing if you don't grind your ass off to make them real. When your dream becomes your master, it controls you. But when you flip the script and become the master of your dream, that's when you say, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL, and then you back it up by losing 106 pounds in less than 3 months. That's how you take control. Your dream doesn't control you anymore. It becomes a checklist of relentless action. Got to do this, got to do that. No excuses, no bullshit. That's when you own your dream. So yeah, a lot of people are out there dreaming big, but when that alarm clock goes off at 4 in the morning, they hit snooze and roll over. They're waiting for someone else to push them, to motivate them. They're looking left, looking right, always searching for a crutch to lean on. But if you want to build a warrior's mentality, you've got to build it yourself, self-accountability, no handouts. This isn't about being selfish, it's about leveling up. When you build yourself, you become the example for others. You don't need to run 205 miles like I did. Hell, I just want you to see what the hell you're capable of. Run that 1 mile, then run another. Push your boundaries. This isn't about comparing yourself to anyone else. It's about breaking through your own limits. And let me tell you something, man, my biggest trophy isn't some shiny medal on a shelf, it's my story, my journey. It's that damn book one wrote. Not because I need the recognition or the sales, but because of the blood, sweat, and tears that went into every page. That's my trophy. That's my victory. It's proof of the struggle. I don't care if it sells 1 copy or 1,000,000, because it's not about the numbers. It's about the fact that I put myself through hell and came out the other side. That's what I want people to understand. Your life is your damn trophy. The more you suffer, the greater the peace you'll find on the other side. And yeah, some of that pain isn't your fault. Maybe you got dealt a shitty hand. Maybe you've got scars from your past, but let me be clear, no one's coming to save your ass. You got to go back to the root of that pain, face it, and fix it yourself. It takes balls to go back to that dark place and start rebuilding, but that's the only way out. I didn't get here by waiting for motivation to knock on my door. I got up, I faced my demons, and I did the work. I know how to self-motivate. Most people don't. They put on their headphones, pump up the volume, and think that's going to carry them through. But what happens when the music stops? What the hell are you going to do then? That's when it's just you and your mind, and most people can't handle that silence, but I can. I run in silence because I want to face every damn thought, every insecurity head on. When I was out there suffering, I wanted you to know that while you were in your cozy bed, I was still out there grinding, pushing past the limits. I wanted you to feel that unease, knowing that I was thriving in the pain, getting comfortable in the most uncomfortable situations. I used to be that guy afraid, full of excuses, hiding behind my flaws. But I refused to live in fear, to be shackled by other people's judgments. You don't like me? Tough shit. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to be the baddest motherfucker I can be, and you should be too. Stop living in the shadows of your fears. Step up. Face your flaws and turn every single one of them into fuel. That's how you change your life. That's how you win. So get out there and start swinging. Your fight starts now. Stay hard. Listen, man, you can't afford to be afraid of facing your own flaws. Your reading, your learning, your workouts, your diet, it's all connected. You start slacking in one, and before you know it, the whole damn system collapses. Neglect your sleep, eat like crap, skip a workout, it doesn't matter which one you let slip because it snowballs and then boom, you're off track. It creeps up on you slowly, and one day you wake up and realize, damn, I haven't been doing shit right for months. That's why I'm obsessive about my disciplines, my eating, my sleeping, my workouts, all of it. I'm always watching, and the moment I feel myself drifting even a little, I slam on the brakes hard. What really pisses me off is seeing people die with untapped potential, all because they think someone else is better than them, or that they were born with a raw deal. Fuck that. You have to grind your ass down to dust, and when you're nothing but fine powder, you find a way to rebuild yourself stronger and tougher over and over again. That's how you grow. That's how you prove to yourself that you're not a born loser, that you can rewrite your damn story. I knew I sucked. I knew I wasn't born with the best tools, but I didn't let that stop me. I was always in learning mode, always hunting for those little nuggets of wisdom that I could use later on. I'm not out there running just for the hell of it. Admiring the damn scenery. My body hurts, my mind is grinding, and I'm in my mental lab dissecting every bit of it. When I'm out there suffering, I'm taking mental snapshots of every lesson. I'm not just going through the motions, I'm dissecting everything. And when I get home, I don't just let that shit fade away. I take all that pain, all those thoughts, and I put them down on paper. That book you've seen.